those golden chains, Jeff. We have come to requisition them as the people's property. Henceforth, all Amazon warehouses shall be the people's warehouses, Jeff. Suck on it.
The First Amendment to the Constitution.
The 30th and last amendment.
Thou shalt not touch Amazon warehouses. But yeah.
But this is only a glimpse of the coming era of communism, Luigi. This is but a glimmer.
You think the opposite is happening?
It gets, what did Batman, was it Batman or was it Two-Face? I don't remember anymore. It gets darkest before the dawn.
It's really dark.
Dawn, where are you coming? When? It's coming, people. It's coming. I was thinking, though, I mean, if you... Hi, everyone, whatever. Let's get over the pleasantries.
We don't do introductions anymore.
We don't do them, therefore.
Straight to the chase.
Therefore, betas. I just wanted to say that, I was thinking that, I mean, you've got to say that in 2016, barring the super delegates, Bernie was really close to becoming the Democratic nominee. Maybe slightly less so in 2020, but again, he was second in the fucking race. And if Bernie had been in charge, he would have reigned in fucking BB a long time ago, I believe.
It's not just that; everything would do, like the healthcare system domestically, the immigration system, everything.
And you gotta agree, better. Yeah. It wouldn't be perfect, but it would be much better than where we are right now.
Almost all of the progressive policy choices that Biden has done, for example,
Bernie told him about all of them, obviously.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that, Jack?
That's
how you help the working people, Joe. That's what you have to do. That was probably what happened,
especially on healthcare, but even on stuff like infrastructure,
everything,
even chips.
Even his peak at the National Labor Relations Board, Bernie probably told him about it. You put that good man, he's a good man. You put him in the post, he will look after the people. You do it, Joe, go.
Sometimes, Joe, go and on the picket line with them. It's good optics, I tell you.
I'm telling you, Joe, it's gonna look good. Go to it. I just want to say that we were that close to everything being much better than it is right now. So never lose hope, people.
but Bernie is an old fart at this point, and
we'll get new people. We'll get them, Luigi. There's 320 million. There's 320 million of them in there. However many, I haven't checked. Somewhere around, somewhere thereabout. We'll find them. We'll find them. There's good people. Should we get to the funny stuff immediately? Because we're losing.
The funny stuff. It's not immediately. We spend a few minutes on the serious stuff. Bernie dreaming aside, what do we have for everyone this week?
I wanted to be slightly optimistic. Sorry, everyone. It clashes with the general vibe of the show. Let's go to the funny stuff then to prepare ourselves. We've got this is extremely fucking ridiculous. Joe Biden. He had a speech where he suggested that his uncle may have been eaten by cannibals in Papua New Guinea during World War II, which, of course, as you expect, has been met with a mixture of bemusement and criticism in the country of Papua New Guinea, because he just basically called them cannibals. He spoke about his uncle. Remember, Second Lieutenant Finnegan Jr., that was Uncle Bosie, we loved him. He flew single-engine planes, Luigi, reconnaissance flights during the war. He was shot down in New Guinea. They never found the body, because there used to be a lot of cannibals, for real, man, in that part of New Guinea. That's the fucking quote.
That's a quote. So it's definitely not animals. The first assumption is cannibals.
And I mean, official war records say Finnegan was killed when on a plane on which he was a passenger, experienced engine failure. Wasn't even flying the plane, Joey. So accident engine failure crashed into the Pacific Ocean. The records do not mention cannibalism or state that the plane was shot down. Was it like, Joe?
There are a lot of cannibals around, Joe.
There are a lot of discrepancies with the story that Joe is giving us. But I mean, I wanted to tell you the quote was the response by Papua New Guinea? It's really fucking funny. A lecturer, the Melanesian group of people who Papua New Guinea is part of are a very proud people. And they would find this kind of categorization very offensive, not because someone says, oh, there used to be cannibalism in Papua New Guinea. Yes, we know that, that's a fact. But taking it out of context and implying that your uncle jumps out of the plane and somehow we think it's a good meal, it's unacceptable. The cannibal is
Uncle Biden
Uncle Biden.
could be a good meal. Who knows?
They ate him, Richie. They picked his bones.
He was really fresh, George. He was a young, ripe man.
He was very virile, Uncle Bosie. They sent us his collarbone back. They told us he was. They said it was really tasty. Damn, I knew he was tasty. We're all tasty, the Bidens. It's so funny, right? Like that whatever this is. I just want to, I mean, you see there's a little bit of Trump in everybody. We forget sometimes that it's not just Trump being Trump. Biden can also be fucking ridiculous.
Any politician can be ridiculous at any time, especially when they're trying to sort of empathize themselves.
Yeah, that was an attempt at
they're human beings.
Yeah, that was so ridiculous, so bad. Should we move on?
Of course.
Now that we've steeled ourselves for the coming monstrosities.
With the funny stuff aside, let's do the serious stuff.
Yeah, and it's gonna be there's a whiplash to how serious we're gonna get immediately, because just a very simple update. What happened today? 210 bodies recovered from temporary mass graves we're doing a Gaza update, people, in Nasser hospital compound. That's the one that the Israelis had done operations in recently in the southern city of Khan Yunis. And upon the departure of the Israeli armed forces, a total of 110 bodies have been discovered. And I mean, I just wanted to say on that, just a brief glimpse of what's been happening on a day-to-day level over there. I just want to say that we haven't seen any extensive tunnel networks after these operations. What we do find are 210 bodies in mass graves. That's usually what we find, more so than. Have you seen any of the rumored endless tunnel networks underneath hospitals in Gaza? Because I haven't seen any extensive tunnel networks, Luigi. And we were talking about city level of infrastructure underneath the city. That's what the Israelis keep claiming for a long while now.
Top secret, George. It's
top secret. What we usually end up fighting are fucking mass graves, Luigi. So yes, we blush, people. This is the serious shit now.
Can we go back to the funny stuff?
We don't have any more funny stuff. This is the news. You're watching a news fucking podcast. The news is not good, people. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to fucking do this fucking podcast, really.
The news has been going to shit, and I'm gonna add, there's been a lot of violence and instability in the West Bank as well lately. Settler violence, so armed, essentially, people that migrated, I guess, to Israel. And villages, and several people have died as well. And that's that's the peaceful part, right?
Yeah, that's the non-Hamas run. That's the apparently acceptable to Israel, even though they keep fucking stealing land from the West Bank on a daily basis. And I just want to say that apparently the United States, I've read, is considering, or they have sanctioned. I'm not certain they have actually done it, but they're gonna do it. Has been the report of an IDF unit that operates in the West Bank because they've been aiding settlers with violence. That's unprecedented. They haven't sanctioned a part of the IDF, the actual armed forces of Israel.
I think what you're talking about refers to a previous case, so that they're going to sanction, I think, the IDF for something that happened in 2018.
Possibly, but they're still operational, these people. I'll have a look and let you. And anyway, we have lots of news on this topic.
Let's keep moving
on this.
It's the same topic.
Yes, it's the same topic.
Connected these days.
And we have no evidence yet, as of yet. You remember when Israel has come out claiming that the UNRWA, which is the agency responsible for Palestinian refugees, apparently that they had terrorist links. There has been no evidence of this yet. Yet to provide supporting evidence are members that the employees of the UN Relief Agency UNRWA are members of terrorist organizations, which was an independent review led by the former French Foreign Minister Catherine has said, shit is the name of the report. I got attempted. The Corona report, which was commissioned by the UN in the wake of the Israeli allegations, found that UNRWA had regularly supplied Israel with lists of its employees for vetting, and that the Israeli government has not informed UNRWA of any concerns relating to any UNRWA staff based on this staff list since 2011. And I mean, most of the donors have resumed their funding. The UK has said that they would wait for this report. We'll see what they do. However, US financial support of UNRWA has been permanently banned by Congress since the allegations were made. So once again, the Americans, piss poor.
The Americans' classic shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that no, there's been no evidence whatsoever that there was any member that had any link with terrorism, since Israel itself goes through and vets the list, right? It's beyond ridiculous. I mean, at this point, you're admitting that you're incompetent in your vetting, so maybe you should investigate your own fucking processes.
But, I mean, yes. Let's see it from a skeptical angle. If the plan was to really cut off aid to Gaza, tremendously successful as a plan.
Yeah, well, I love that you give. Yeah, I mean, that's the actual viewpoint we should be taking. Israel doesn't care if it embarrasses itself. It's managed to get the US to cut funding to UNRWA, so they possibly consider
and starve aid.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if that is really the policy plan, but this is. I don't know if that's a plan, but it's the policy that's being pursued. That's
it genuinely seems that is the plan, considering what is happening on the ground day by day, right? Should we move on to this? The US has vetoed the Palestinian request for full UN membership. Another incredible piece of news by our friends, the Americans. They have vetoed the Palestinian request to the United Nations Security Council for full UN membership, blocking the world's body recognition of a Palestinian state. 15-member Security Council, 12 in favor. Should be noted that the French once again voted the right way, and the UK abstained.
The British abstained, yeah.
Losers. The
it's
US.
A special relationship, George.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna read the description why the UK abstained, because it's basically what you said. We had to do it because the Americans did it. Why did the US oppose? They've stated that they continue to strongly support the two-state solution, but this vote does not reflect opposition to Palestinian statehood, even though it's literally that, but instead is an acknowledgement that it will only come from direct negotiations between the parties. Now, I'm not even gonna go through it. Whatever. They can do whatever the fuck they want. We know where they stand by now. I'm just gonna point out that this is an obvious example of how Biden could have wielded his power if he so wanted to rein in Netanyahu.
A good point. A great point. But
that's one example. You know,
if the US president really wanted to rein in the Israeli president, I mean, you don't go through.
I know, Luigi.
1,000 levers you can
But
pull.
honestly, I'm disgusted by the amount of fucking misinformation I see online by idiots, degenerate fucking propagandists who actually are actually managing to convince people that the fucking United States can't rein in Israel if it wanted to.
I'll give you a very small example. Let's skip forward a few pieces of news and go to the latest package that the American Congress is about to pass. That package, which was a $61 billion military, it goes to everyone. It goes to Ukraine. It goes to Ukraine. It goes to Taiwan, just to piss off the Chinese a little bit. And it goes to Israel. 26.4 billion of that will go to Israel. And I've got the specific allocation here. 5 billion will go to replenishing and expanding Israel's missile and rocket defense systems. 3.5 billion for advanced weapon systems. 1 to enhance weapons production. 4.5 billion for supplies and services. And 9 billion for humanitarian purposes, including in the Gaza Strip, it says, I don't know how much of that will really go to Gaza since the aid is being given to Israel.
It reminds absolutely disgusting, first of all, but it also reminds me of John's latest episode, which I liked a lot. Not the one that's coming out this Tuesday, the previous one, when he was like, in the aspect of the Palestinians, we keep bombing them and feeding them. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, eat your sandwich now. Shelling comes in 2 hours. Go hide.
We're such humanitarians, my dude. So
My God,
humanitarian.
right?
But seriously, like, did we really,
Yes.
like, if you wanted to pressure the state of Israel into sort of cutting down on the killing,
What you want to do, Luigi, if you want to pressure them, is you give them a couple of billions more,
you,
20 billion more,
yeah,
and
26
you
billion
stop
more.
funding UNRWA, obviously. That's how you pressure them. It's ridiculous, right?
I don't think you really understand how much 26 billion is to a country whose GDP, talking about Israel, was
What is it?
525 in 2022.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
that's 5% of GDP without, like, let's face it, without any real need for that to happen. So that's a big one, my dude.
That is a lot of money for no good reason at this point.
Yeah. So that's
I
not how
mean,
you
but
pressure
the
an
way,
ally.
I believe, I mean, one of the impetuses of getting this through the line was the Iranian attack. So that has played into this, to be
Almost
honest,
certainly.
which is a good
Almost certainly.
segue into what has happened with Israel. Israel has responded. Now, when was that? That was last Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a Friday. Yeah.
That was last Friday, which US officials have confirmed that Israel has carried out airstrikes against Iran as explosions were reported in the sky over the cities of Isfahan and Tabriz. While the Iranian government sought to play down the scale of the attack, it seems that the Middle Eastern War 2024 has been averted for now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the fucking gods and the stars, but it seems to have worked out. It seems that Israel, sorry, I just finished, that
Yeah.
Israel did not target the Iranian nuclear facilities. Apparently, it's been briefed that the Americans wanted that guarantee for the Iranian nuclear facilities not to be targeted.
That is surprising. I didn't hear that last part, but
There
look,
you go. There you go. According to CNN, the Israelis assured the Americans that Iran's nuclear facilities will not be targeted. Apparently, that
look,
was one of the
the
lines.
Iranians basically acted like this never happened. They
Yeah,
almost said that they intercepted everything. God knows what they intercepted. God knows what their missile defense systems look like. I
yeah.
would go on a limb and say not amazing, but whatever. They downplayed it to the point where they literally said, we're not going to reply to this because nothing happened.
Yes. And as far
And
as I can tell, there has been no release of any casualties. We don't know.
yeah, nothing according to
Yeah.
them, like literally.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what Luigi is saying, I mean, they were showing live videos of morning traffic over the city just to show that the situation, there was nothing happening. So that's the angle 100% that Iran is playing with this. They were
mhm.
reassuring Iranians that they were not facing a major threat, which is good to know, to be honest. This is good news because the less escalation, the better. This is what we wanted Israel to act like. It
Bingo.
seems that
And
Bibi was restrained in the sense that he didn't go for high density population centers. Thank God. He didn't go for anything.
exactly.
He didn't
Which
go for anything
again,
too grand.
I would imagine the Americans again were keen
Yeah.
on holding him back. And look at the wider point though here is that you have a situation where clearly Iran doesn't want the war. Israel doesn't really want the war with Iran, and the
Doesn't want a
Americans
war without full American backing.
exactly, and the Americans importantly don't want to get into
No.
that mess. So
Right
the set
before
of
a general
incentives.
election, Luigi.
Exactly, which for Biden, I mean, a war in Iran means oil prices go to the stratosphere, and it
Yeah.
probably means you lose the election. So it's gonna be, it's encouraging. The set of incentives that is currently in effect is encouraging. We exchanged a few missiles just to show to each other that we could.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
showcase, that's very good, a very good point, and showcase that both can strike deep into each other's territories.
And with precision enough to avoid any casualties. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay, it's
Tentatively
clear.
good news for this week. An absolute disaster may happen. This is obviously not good news in the sense that the fucking Pandora's box has been opened now, with Iran
Mhm.
directly striking Israel, Israel striking back. It's not good, but at least complete fucking annihilation has been averted. And for humanity, that's always good news.
Great news.
That's a good
And
Tuesday. That's a good
that
Tuesday night.
that geopolitical scene might even calm down a little bit unless Trump gets elected president. I
Yes.
can't think of what the relationship is
An
gonna be
excellent
with the
point.
Iranians.
When we were covering last week, Trump came out with a tweet when he was like full on ballistic against Iran, dude. He just retweeted what he had tweeted 4 or 5 years ago about Iran. You know, they rape their children and they piss in the skulls of their wives and whatever the fuck he does. So it does not bode well, yeah, fucking Trump guy getting
They are
in with
cannibals, George.
they ate my
They
uncle
eat their
Bosie.
own.
Even Biden says so. But I mean, it's not
Oh
good.
dear.
What we're getting at is not good. To have high tensions with Iran, with fucking Trump coming in.
And man, if you are the Iranians, I mean, you always have to remember you're a theocracy. You have to constantly
Yeah.
ponder to the domestic audience, like signal that you are really strong.
And
Yeah.
just an addendum, you remember we were talking about, I think you mentioned that, I mean, it was evident that with Israel's response, with Iran launching 300 missiles and drones at them, and all of them, nearly all of them getting intercepted successfully. I read recently, let me just find it, that the US has a lot of leverage regarding this because.
The Americans downed most of
Yeah,
those missiles, basically,
where's the
and
percentage? I had the
about
percent.
half, about half is
About
what the
half,
Americans
right? I
downed.
think it was 60%, I
Yeah,
think.
well, whatever. The bottom line being, if the Iranians hadn't given a 3-day warning to the Americans to move ships into the area,
Definitely, definitely.
and at the same time, calling them basically once the missiles were flying, and at the same time, the ballistic missiles in that group of 300 that you mentioned, those were a vast minority. It was like 30 out of the 300
I imagine
were
those are
ballistic
the
missiles.
I imagine those are the very expensive parts of the armada.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
most of those not most, but like the ones that landed were ballistic missiles, right?
Wow.
So
Thanks for the clarification. Yeah.
it was a show that if I really wanted to, next time it's gonna
Yeah.
be 100, 200. You can't get all of them. So yeah. Anyway, de-escalation for now in the
For
Middle East.
now, thankfully, and
Some good news.
just to finish up with this, some good news, some bad news to finish off with this. Netanyahu is still insisting that the assault on Rafah will be carried out. We don't know
They're not
as of
gonna let
yet.
him. At this point, I don't think that the Americans are gonna let him. It was a red line from the very beginning. Bibi has been saying this since the middle of March.
Yes, yes, yes. I hope
Yeah.
so.
So
Let's move
yeah.
on then. Let's move on. What have we got, Luigi? What have we got? We've got the historic Trump criminal trial, in my view, and I think many others, the worst of
Witch
the
hunt.
criminal, the one where the fucking adjective witch hunt sticks to the most. This one, the worst of the criminal trials, and it has begun. I mean, why do I be? I mean, it's not, I don't know how the court is going to work out. Very possibly he's going to get indicted for this because, I mean, it's a case of Trump falsifying his business records for the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. And then I think he claimed that it was lawyer expenses with Michael Cohen,
Yeah.
that it was lawful legal expenses. And then obviously Michael Cohen, they got him. I mean, fucking dead to rights. He actually served jail for this. But he admitted that no, I had actually paid Stormy Daniels and it wasn't fucking for legal expenses. So I mean, they as far as I can tell, this is an open and shut case, give or take. I mean, on the count of falsifying business records. So I don't know how this is going to work out in the court of law. This is possibly a very tight case they have. I'm just arguing that in the court of public opinion, it's not gonna play out, dude. I mean, he's gonna argue whatever. He was hush money payments. I didn't want my affair with Stormy getting out, and this is gonna be convincing for at least half the population,
Yeah.
especially
It makes
considering the
him.
person Trump is.
It almost makes him look human. I
Yeah, and
had
I
to pay
mean,
her money, George.
I didn't want it to
I'm
find
the best
out.
with women.
I mean, as far as
Women love me,
scandals go,
George.
this isn't the scandal that will take down a guy like Trump, for fuck's
Yeah, yeah, for
sake.
sure. Nothing is gonna take down Trump in that sense.
In the sense of impugning his public image. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, a legal case is a different thing, but like, are the charges criminal charges? No, right? It
Yes.
has,
It's a criminal trial, Luigi.
but it's gonna be some sort of fine, is what I'm getting to, right? It's not gonna be jail time for this.
It sounds ludicrous for it to be jail time for this, to be honest.
Yeah,
State
I'm
level
gonna I'm
jail.
gonna go out on a limb and say this is gonna be another fine.
I mean, to be fair though, I mean, Michael Cohen did serve jail time for this, Luigi.
True, true. Hmm, interesting.
But I mean, as people
Yeah.
who are not lawyers, me and Luigi, it's not good enough to go after the president for this, is our humble opinion. Even though, I mean, it's a crime, get him, obviously. But considering what is happening right now
It's the
with
it's
the
the Al
American team,
Capone it's the Al Capone approach,
it's the
George.
Al Capone approach, but Al
Get him for
Capone would have
taxes.
never gotten almost 50% of the fucking voting population of the United States to vote for him, dude. I don't
He
think he
wasn't
has,
strong.
I don't think
He
he could
wasn't
have
strong
gotten
like me.
78 million people to vote for him. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know, Luigi. I don't know about this one. Someone
What
burnt himself.
I did see that. That was
Yeah.
super weird. So a man set himself on fire outside Trump's New York court.
Yeah, outside the courtroom, he set himself on fire.
Why?
The news we have on that is he was crazy. That's what they're
Yeah, I
going
mean, what kind of crazy do you have to be though to do
with.
that?
And not even
It's a
explain
special.
yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it was weird, right? Because got over here, left behind pamphlets. He never explained why he did it. Little to do specifically with Trump, more broadly anti-government and anti-tech industry. I mean, I wanted to know that nothing represents the tech industry more than Donald motherfucking Trump. So,
I
I
mean,
mean,
not really. I
obvious.
mean, yeah, yeah.
So let's move on to U.S. House. I mean, you for mention, you for forwarded, you you flash
I
forwarded,
telegraphed
you
us a piece of the
you
future, George.
you flash forwarded ahead, you recognized what was going to happen, and they have approved the 61 billion in military aid for Ukraine after many months of stalling. Before the turn of the year, I believe, now this has been
Mhm.
happening. Ukraine has been
And
begging for a while now, but it includes, as you pointed out, not just funding for Ukraine. The majority of it is for Ukraine, and then you've got some of it Israel, some of it Taiwan.
but I mean, it's really close, right? If it's 61 billion and Israel gets
20,
26 of that, it's about half and half. Since
and
Taiwan gets some as well.
let me find the numbers. Yeah, just a second. Yes, we've got it, Luigi. The
Oh yeah, so it's
95.
60. Yeah, okay, never mind. So it was two-thirds Ukraine, one-third Israel.
Yes, I've got it. Yeah, basically, yeah, they've broken it down as 61 billion. The Guardian has broken it for Ukraine, so the title is correct. I get what you're
Mhm.
saying. So it's
The
95
total bill.
billion.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
total bill is 95 billion, and two-thirds of it is going to Ukraine, 61 billion, with much of the funding going towards replenishing American munitions. And then you've got the 26 billion for Israel, 8 billion for US allies in the Indo-Pacific region, including Taiwan, mostly Taiwan, I guess, and 9 billion and a little bit of crumbs for Haiti, Sudan, and Gaza. So 26 billion to the guys bombing the people of Gaza and 9 billion, well, let's say
For
4 billion
humanitarian assistance,
for the
George.
guys getting bombed with the 26 billion that they just given to Israel. Nice. Though that also
Man,
includes a ban on direct US funding. Oh, yeah. And this package also includes the ban on UNRWA, or funding the United Nations Relief and Work Agency for Palestinian refugees.
for another year.
Well,
Excellent.
that's incredible, right? So, I mean,
Right.
how did Mike do it? Well, I mean, I think the crucial reason that Mike was able to pass this is that they managed to convince Donald to go ahead with it. To this moment, Donald has not shot on this. on his Truth Social. I mean, this can change moment by moment, right? It's fucking Donald Trump. But it hasn't happened to this moment. They've convinced. I think Lindsey Graham is the behemoth that managed to convince Trump. I think some of this shit is gonna be repayable loans. Some of the money they're giving to Ukraine. I mean, nobody knows if this is ever gonna be repaid anyway. But it seems to have convinced Donald, and this is the reason that
Yeah, yeah.
Mike has been able to pass. I mean, bipartisan because Mike couldn't pass it just with the Republicans. I mean, he's got a razor-thin majority. So we
The
had
Donny okayed it,
the
basically.
Donny okay did. We had 210 Democrats and 101 Republicans. So far more Democrats than Republicans joining to support Ukraine. With 112 Republicans, the majority voting against. Very interesting to
Interesting. I
note.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, they didn't really try to rally those troops. They only needed about half, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean with Donald slyly okaying this was gonna pass. So I mean, how did he do it? Obviously Zelensky approved. I mean, let's get to the other thing I wanted to say now we got through the processes of how this happened. I mean, as Europeans, I'm not gonna be against aid for a country being invaded. I'm talking about Ukraine.
Of
And
course.
that doesn't mean I'm against trying to resolve this politically. Of course, this would be better if it could be resolved politically as soon as possible. But I'm not
Yeah.
against aid to Ukraine. Taiwan, I don't know. Israel against. That's how I'm. Do you want to break your
Well,
votes down as
what do you
well?
not know about Taiwan?
I
It's
don't know what the aid is being for. I mean, obviously, I'm not against China.
most likely arms.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Taiwan, I'm not gonna. I don't want tensions being raised in Taiwan. That's what I'm thinking, Luigi. Um,
Yeah, an easy way to raise tensions, I guess, would be to feed them arms. But I mean, yeah,
you
I
you
guess
you
the
don't want
US is gonna
Taiwan.
argue. But I
100%.
want
But at the
Taiwan.
on the other side, you don't want them appearing too weak and appearing too much of a morsel for China because
It's
that
true.
also it's complicated.
It's true, and to be honest about this, logistically invading Taiwan is a nightmare. So the more arms they have, the more impenetrable it almost is
Fair enough. So I'm,
as
I'm
an
not I'm
island.
not I'm not gonna come out staunchly against that, but I will come out against the Israeli because fuck that shit. What the fuck? But they passed it. Impressive, right, Luigi? Did you think that they would pass the Ukraine aid, the ones for Ukraine?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Ukraine has been bleeding, let's say, on the battlefield. The Russians have been making advances, and if anything works in the US, it's the arms industry, the weapons manufacturing and sell. I mean, that's bipartisan.
That's
So,
that's usually where they get really bipartisan, yeah. I mean, now
so yeah,
anybody could have guessed the Israel funding, but the Ukrainian, interesting, they managed to get it through in the
yeah.
end.
I mean, this is a one for all sort of bill, right?
I,
You
th- I
did the
think I,
Ukraine thing.
I think he separated them, Luigi. I think he went along with the strategy of separating the bill. He split the bill into four, which apparently was supposed to appease the far right members of his own GOP conference by giving them the opportunity to vote on the parts they like and dislike accordingly. So, I mean, first to be voted was the border security, which failed because, ironically, many right-wing Republicans do not want to back border security because they don't want to give Biden the win. So, I mean, but the
Exactly. And that
Ukraine,
also comes
yeah,
from Donny, right?
yeah,
That's also
yeah,
tramping like we
on
can't
Donny
solve
Boy's
the
orders.
migration. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't solve the border on an election year.
Dude, that's like half his fucking rally speech. What the fuck is going to talk about
Yeah,
again? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
right.
But the rest passed. The rest passed. And another thing that passed was the House passed the bill that could lead to the total TikTok ban. We discussed this before. Anything you want to
We've
say?
discussed this before. Yeah, the term ban is a little bit misleading because what would be happening is TikTok USA would just be switching hands and being owned by American investors. That's all that would happen.
And just a side note, provided that ByteDance agrees with this, right, Luigi? I mean, theoretically, they could just pull up shop and just leave the
Yeah,
US
they could just
market.
close that, but why
Yeah.
would you do that? You are forfeiting several billion. So
You're
no way
definitely
would you do
that is a definite economic hit, yeah. I mean, it
I mean,
depends, Luigi. It depends on how much of it is an instrument of the Chinese political party, of the Communist Party. If it's wholly an instrument of it, well, will they agree to losing half of the ownership of the thing?
I don't know.
to selling their algorithm. I mean, it's proprietary knowledge that they're going to sell to American businessmen essentially. So
I
I
don't
don't
think
know
it's.
how they
Yeah.
respond when the shit actually hits the fan.
So you are basically saying that there's a chance that the Chinese government just shuts down the entire TikTok project in the US so that. Yeah.
Indirectly gets the TikTok executives, the ByteDance executives, to just pull out of America.
Hmm.
If the only solution given to them by the United States of staying in is by selling by divesting basically the American part of the operation.
That
I
could
don't know.
happen.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's gonna how it's gonna play out. It's important to know that China does sort of the same thing to anyone who wants to invest in their country.
obviously, but that's implied, right? That
Yeah.
look,
I'm not because I am. I
don't
mean,
for-
on a freedom of speech level, you shouldn't ban TikTok. Obviously, I mean, whatever. If people want to spend endless hours on that addicting shit, they can do what they want. But you should regulate it. Obviously, that's quite a different matter. I don't want to discuss this how I would regulate TikTok. But if you
yeah,
want to get into it
it's a
very
broad
quickly, I mean,
question. Yeah,
maybe a prompt every hour or so that lets you know you've spent far too much time on this shit. Consider doing something else. Maybe a
yeah.
mandatory that because yeah. Anyway, irrelevant to the discussion of the United States. This is a discussion
I don't know.
about TikTok as a platform. Yeah,
I used to play games that did that to you, and it was pretty annoying.
yeah. It is
So
annoying. I
I'm
don't
gonna go
know.
with no with that one.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on the subject, obviously. I'm not, but a lot of kids are on it for many hours, so
Of course.
that's the only thing. It's important just to consider the effect of social media. But it seems
Yeah.
it's going to the Senate, Luigi, and they're expected to vote this week.
It's gonna be change of ownership at best, would be my guess. And at the same time, like the question is, does China retaliate and how do they retaliate?
Oh, you've
Because
talked about it with
yeah,
Apple and the rest
yeah.
because Apple has how what's the percentage of their sales global,
20% of Chinese of global sales
which
are
is
China.
which
They're
is
about.
huge.
It used to be their biggest growing segment as well until
Oof.
recently. And by the way, the stock has been suffering. Like some of the only stocks that are down for this year are Apple shares and drum roll,
Yes.
Tesla shares
Yeah.
down
Oh,
40%.
baby. Oh, baby.
Down
Oh.
40%. And that is a
But
great
we end
segue.
on the good news. I love that. I love that. I got Bolsonaro supporters hitting the streets of Rio de Janeiro and hailing their new hero, our hero, the people's hero, Elon Musk. Because if you can believe this shit, Elon has been on a vendetta with some of the guys we keep praising, the guys who put Bolsonaro in his place after the stupid coup he tried to pull off.
Mhm.
And he has a vendetta with the Supreme Court judge,
Yeah.
Alejandro de Moraes. And Moraes is responsible for several investigations into Bolsonaro that could land the ex-president in jail, including one examining the alleged coup plot that preceded the right-wing insurrection in Brasilia on 8 January 2023. A date etched deep in our heart. It's known as the stupid coup.
The stupidest of coups.
Yes.
2 days after a
After
really
this,
stupid coup.
yeah. It's an important dates, people. You have to remember them. But curiously, since early April, I hadn't caught
It
notice
was,
of
I'm
this.
sorry, it
Yeah,
was
go on.
coup week.
It was right after 3 years of infrastructure week. We had cool week, and it was
It
great.
was coup d'etat week.
And apparently, yeah, I hadn't noticed that Musk has been going on the warpath against the Supreme Court justice in Brazil, but he'd been calling him Brazil's Darth Vader in classic in classic Musk style. Obviously, a thinking man, and comparing his
Since
actions,
Star Wars, dude.
yeah, to those of a
He
brute.
has
He's so
watched.
cool, Luigi. He's so cool. To those of a brutal dictator. And he tweeted that he should resign or be impeached. My only comment on this is, what the fuck is he playing Henry Kissinger now? What the fuck is Elon Musk doing? And I
Yeah,
think
have
that
you, have
that's
you
the
seen?
reason he's our favorite billionaire. Because I mean, the guy is trying to fucking influence fucking foreign politics. How could he not be our in the open as well, just tweeting about it? So how could he not be our favorite billionaire, right?
Have you seen Iron Man?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically Tony Stark don't give a fuck is the angle we are
Tony,
doing.
Tony wants your fucking minerals, bitch. And Tony don't
Obrigado,
like
Elon.
those unions that are happening around
So,
Brasilia.
I mean, why am I not surprised that Elon Musk has a feud with a
With a
Brazilian like
with a
Supreme Court
Brazilian,
justice?
yeah, with a San
Not
Brazilian,
surprising, honestly. If anyone would have a feud with
yeah,
someone in another country
with a
on
judge from
Twitter,
another country who has responded by including the ex-owner in inquiring to the online dissemination of fake news. Nice.
nice, nice.
So I mean, there's gotta be a deeper reason why this deep shit wants the left wing in Brazil damaged. But I don't know,
Um,
Luigi. I don't know
Probably
the deeper reasons why a free
there
speech
has to be.
absolutist.
There has to be a business reason. There has to be a monetary Tesla or X are losing money in Brazil for whatever reason. Like it's the only thing that
Maybe,
gets
maybe,
Elon's wheels moving.
maybe Lula charged him a deep shit tax for selling the Teslas in Brazil. He got annoyed at
Deep
it.
shit tax. It's gonna be that's gonna be a
It's
first.
it's gonna be a
It's
thing,
a,
dude. It's gonna be a thing. Trust me. 10 years of now, after the communist era has begun, Luigi, there's gonna be a deep shit tax, and Elon is gonna get a. It's gonna be in the upper margins of it.
it's all right. He's gonna migrate to Mars by then, and you can't regulate Mars.
No oxygen, no regulations,
He's
bitch.
gonna find his own country, the Elon Republic,
The
the
Elon Republic,
democratic.
where all oxygen is just Elon Musk's farts. You know it, I
Wow.
know it. That's gonna be it. You're gonna get high on Elon, baby, on Mars. That's the future. That's the
That's how we
unless
terraform
unless
Mars. Wow.
deep
Wow.
shit tax. Unless deep shit tax. So suddenly it looks far more reasonable, doesn't it?
I see it. I see it. You've sold me. Okay.
Exactly.
And
So let's
last
finish
but
up.
definitely not
What is this,
least,
Luigi? Is this a song praising our favorite leader of the,
uh,
I was gonna say free world, but maybe not so free world.
the,
Our
the, the,
favorite
the,
leader of the non-free world. Let's
the
let's
not so free world.
the barely free world.
This is what the North Korean propaganda machine gets you in 2024, George. It's a lovely song preaching how good of a father the great leader is. Trump's best friend, as far
Should
if I
be
remember my
noted.
history. Yeah,
100%, 100%. Very good note to have. Yes. So
yeah.
should we
So
end on this?
let's head lightly.
On the
Yes,
beautiful words in praise of our most beautiful of leaders, leader of the unfree world. Take it away, Kim Jong-un, everyone.
노래하자 김종국 위대하신 용도자 사랑하자 김종국 친근한 후보에 한마음 믿고 따르래 친근한 후보에 노래하자 김종국 위대하신 용도자 사랑하자 김종국